We've all been told that walking is the best exercise as we age. It's safe, it's gentle, and it keeps us moving. But here's the uncomfortable truth. After 60, walking alone is not enough. Aging changes more than our muscles. It changes our brain, our dopamine systems, our sense of motivation and vitality. Walking keeps us comfortable, but comfort alone does not challenge the body or the mind. It doesn't remind us that we are capable of growth, adaptation, and resilience. The brain responds to effort. Every time we push against resistance, we release dopamine, the chemical that drives motivation, focus, and meaning. When movement becomes predictable, when our bodies experience only gentle motion, the brain begins to crave less, and our sense of vitality diminishes. This is why so many older adults feel flat or unmotivated. To truly thrive, we must reintroduce challenge in safe, intentional ways. Strength training is not about lifting heavy weights. It's about sending a clear signal to the body: I still need you. I still rely on you. Every squat, push, or pull helps preserve muscle, bone density, and stability. It reminds the body that it is needed, and in turn, it reminds the brain that we are capable of exertion, that effort is meaningful. Strength training reconnects effort with reward, and that reconnection sparks both physical and mental vitality. Then there is the power of stillness, of holding tension through isometric exercises. Planks, wall sits, static presses, all of these engage deep, stabilizing muscles, protecting joints and posture. But they do more than that. They train patience, discipline, and resilience. In the tremble of controlled effort, the body adapts, and the mind learns that discomfort is not a threat, but a tool. It teaches us that we can endure, that we can persevere, and that there is growth in holding our ground. Short bursts of high-intensity movement are equally vital. A quick set of stair climbs, brisk marching, or even 20 seconds of rapid motion followed by rest stimulates the cardiovascular system and renews cellular energy. These microstresses tell the body, you are not done yet. They awaken both heart and mind, reminding us that our systems can still respond, adapt, and strengthen. We live in a world of constant comfort. Chairs are soft, tasks are easy, entertainment is effortless, but comfort in excess diminishes drive. Choosing controlled discomfort, whether through strength, stillness, or intensity, reawakens the brain's reward system. It reconnects effort with pleasure, discipline with dopamine, challenge with meaning. It is this connection that sustains life far more than the mere act of walking ever could. So if you are over 60, understand this. You don't need to move more, you need to move differently. Walk if you love walking, but also lift, hold, and move with intention. These are not just exercises, they are acts of defiance against decline. They remind the body and brain that we are still capable of transformation, still capable of thriving. Aging gracefully is not about avoiding pain or protecting comfort. It's about engaging with effort in a way that gives life back to you. Strength, balance, intensity, they are what keep us alive, not just standing. They are what keep us fully present in every moment. Walking has been promoted as the ideal form of exercise for older adults for decades. It's simple, accessible, and low risk, and there's no question it provides benefits for cardiovascular health, joint mobility, and mental well-being. But there's a critical nuance that often goes unmentioned. After the age of 60, relying solely on walking as your primary form of movement is no longer sufficient to maintain true vitality, strength, and resilience. Walking is gentle, yes, but gentleness alone cannot fully stimulate the systems in your body and brain that keep you alive, alert, and thriving. It can maintain your current state, but it rarely promotes meaningful growth. When we rely only on walking, the body becomes accustomed to low-intensity activity, and the brain adjusts its reward pathways accordingly. Over time, this can lead to a quiet erosion of motivation, energy, and even cognitive sharpness. The gentle rhythm of steps can feel comforting, but it doesn't challenge the body in ways that force adaptation, and it doesn't signal to the brain that effort is worthwhile or rewarding. In other words, comfort may preserve life in a minimal sense, but it does not cultivate the vitality that allows life to feel full and energetic. Our bodies and brains are wired to respond to effort and challenge. When muscles are engaged in resistance, When the heart experiences short bursts of intensity, when the body holds itself in tension, it sends a powerful message to every system. I am being used. I am needed. I am alive. Walking alone, while beneficial, sends a much weaker signal. It maintains circulation and keeps joints lubricated, but it does not generate the same level of stimulus required to sustain muscle mass, bone density, hormonal balance, or neurological function. The gradual decline in these systems after 60 can be slowed but not fully countered by walking alone. Walking is passive compared to the active stimulus that strength, stability, and high-intensity movements provide. Moreover, walking is not sufficient to engage the brain's motivational circuitry in a meaningful way. The brain responds to challenge and novelty. When movement is predictable and low intensity, the brain begins to expect less from the body, and the dopamine system, the chemical messenger that fuels motivation, reward, and learning, becomes understimulated. This can leave older adults feeling flat, uninspired, or less capable of tackling new challenges. Walking, while physically beneficial, rarely generates the type of neurochemical feedback that drives personal growth, resilience, and a sustained sense of purpose. To truly thrive after 60, movement must do more than maintain the status quo. It must challenge, awaken, and remind both body and brain that effort is valuable and rewarding. This is why it is crucial to rethink the role of walking in a holistic exercise routine. Walking can and should remain part of a balanced lifestyle, but it cannot be the only tool relied upon to preserve health and vitality. To truly live well after 60, the body requires resistance that strengthens muscles, intensity that challenges the cardiovascular system, and stability work that protects joints and posture. These forms of exercise provoke adaptation, stimulate growth, and activate reward pathways in the brain in ways that walking alone cannot. Without incorporating these forms of challenge, older adults risk gradually losing strength, agility, and even motivation, all of which can silently diminish quality of life. In essence, walking is not the enemy. It is merely insufficient as a standalone strategy for thriving in later years. To move well after 60, to maintain energy, resilience, and cognitive sharpness, walking must be supplemented with activities that challenge both body and mind. These additional movements do more than maintain, they transform. They reawaken dormant capacities, they remind the brain of its potential, and they restore the body's ability to adapt and endure. By acknowledging the limits of walking alone, we open the door to a more intentional, rewarding, and life-extending approach to movement, one that sustains vitality well into our later decades. When we think about exercise, most of us imagine movement, repetitive, motions, steps taken, or weights lifted. But there is a form of physical training that does not rely on motion at all, yet its impact is profound: isometric exercise. These exercises, which involve holding a position under tension without moving, such as planks, wall sits, or static presses, are often overlooked, yet they play a crucial role in maintaining strength, stability, and resilience, especially after 60. The power of isometric exercises lies not in how much you move, but in how your body adapts to holding itself firmly against gravity or resistance. This type of training engages deep, stabilizing muscles, improves posture, protects joints, and enhances balance, all critical factors for aging safely and confidently. It is subtle, quiet, and controlled, but the effects are deeply transformative. Isometric exercises teach the body to endure controlled tension. Every second spent holding a plank or a wall sit sends a message to the muscles: you are capable of sustaining effort. You are reliable. You are strong. For older adults whose muscles and connective tissues may naturally weaken over time, this message is essential. It helps rebuild functional strength, which is the kind of strength used in everyday life: standing from a chair, carrying groceries, reaching overhead, or simply maintaining posture throughout the day. Unlike walking, which primarily engages the larger superficial muscles, isometric training activates the hidden stabilizers, the muscles that support joints, protect the spine, and prevent falls. In this way, isometric exercises are not just about strength, they are about safety, mobility, and independence. But the benefits extend beyond the physical. Isometric exercises also engage the mind in a unique and powerful way. Holding a position under tension requires patience, focus, and control. It teaches you to stay present in the body, to resist the natural urge to quit when discomfort arises, and to embrace the challenge rather than shy away from it. In doing so, these exercises subtly train the brain's reward system. When you resist the impulse to release tension, the brain releases dopamine, reinforcing the sense of accomplishment and resilience. This is not merely exercise, it is a form of mental conditioning. It reconnects effort with reward, teaching the brain that perseverance is meaningful, even when the effort is subtle and prolonged. This kind of intentional, static effort is particularly valuable as we age because it encourages a form of strength that is both sustainable and safe. High-impact or dynamic exercises may carry a risk of injury, whereas isometric exercises allow older adults to challenge themselves fully without the strain of motion or impact. They create a controlled environment where the body learns to endure and the mind learns to focus. The stability gained through these exercises translates directly into everyday life, providing a foundation for more dynamic movements while simultaneously reducing the risk of falls or injuries. Moreover, isometric exercises cultivate a sense of discipline and self-awareness that few other exercises can. They require listening to the body, understanding limits, and gently pushing boundaries in a measured way. They demonstrate that growth is not always loud or rapid. Sometimes it is quiet, steady, and internal. The tremble of muscles under tension, the subtle burn in the deep core, and the mental challenge of holding a position all serve as reminders that effort itself is valuable. This combination of physical and psychological conditioning makes isometric training an indispensable tool for longevity and quality of life. In short, while walking maintains mobility and cardiovascular health, isometric exercises provide strength, stability, and mental resilience. They are quiet, deliberate, and profoundly effective, teaching both the body and the brain that effort is meaningful and sustainable. By integrating these exercises into a routine, older adults can build a foundation that protects against decline, enhances independence, and restores confidence. They are not just exercises. They are a form of empowerment, a practice that strengthens the body, sharpens the mind, and prepares us to thrive in every aspect of life long after the age of 60. Most people think of exercise as long, steady activity, walking, jogging, or stretching, and often overlook the power of short bursts of intense effort. Yet these brief, high-intensity movements are among the most effective tools for maintaining vitality, especially after 60. Short bursts of effort, sometimes called interval or micro-intensity training, may last as little as 20 to 30 seconds, but their effects are profound. They stimulate the cardiovascular system, ignite cellular repair processes, and challenge the body in ways that steady, low-intensity movement cannot. For older adults, these micro-efforts are a way to awaken dormant energy systems, push the boundaries of endurance safely, and signal to the body that it is still capable of adaptation and growth. These bursts of intensity can take many forms: brisk stair climbs, a few seconds of fast marching in place, quick cycling sprints, or even dynamic bodyweight movements. The key is that they elevate the heart rate and challenge the muscles for a short period, followed by rest or gentle recovery. This pattern triggers a powerful response in the body. The heart and lungs are stimulated to work harder, increasing blood flow, oxygen delivery, and nutrient transport to tissues. The muscles experience a surge in energy demand, activating cellular repair and growth pathways that help maintain strength, endurance, and metabolic efficiency. On a cellular level, these bursts stimulate mitochondrial renewal, improving the body's ability to produce energy and fight the natural decline that comes with aging. The beauty of high-intensity bursts is that they provide maximum benefit with minimal time commitment. In just a few minutes, older adults can achieve a level of cardiovascular, muscular, and neurological stimulation that might take hours through steady, low-intensity movement. This efficiency is particularly important as we age because it allows us to challenge our bodies safely without overexertion or prolonged strain. Short, deliberate bursts of effort are both manageable and transformative. offering a practical way to enhance vitality even for those with limited mobility or time. But the benefits extend beyond the physical. High-intensity bursts also provide a mental and emotional stimulus that is essential for thriving after 60. The brief challenge, the momentary push against comfort, signals to the brain that effort is meaningful. When we voluntarily choose to exert ourselves, even briefly, the brain releases dopamine, the chemical of motivation and reward. This is the same mechanism that underlies habit formation, focus, and persistence. In this way, short bursts of effort are not just exercise. They are an act of mental conditioning, reminding the mind that challenge is valuable, that growth is still possible, and that we are capable of pushing beyond perceived limitations. These micro-intensity efforts also create resilience. The brief discomfort teaches the body and mind to tolerate strain without panic or fear. It strengthens not just the heart and muscles, but confidence and courage. When you feel the heart rate rise, the muscles burn, and the breath quicken, and you persist anyway, you are training a fundamental life skill, the ability to face challenge without retreat. This skill translates into daily life, supporting mobility, independence, and the capacity to engage fully with the world. Incorporating short bursts of intensity into a routine transforms exercise from a passive activity into an active signal of vitality. Unlike walking alone, which primarily maintains current function, these brief surges provoke adaptation, stimulate cellular and neurological systems, and reinforce mental resilience. They are a message to the body and brain alike: you are capable, you are alive, and you are still growing. By adding these bursts into a consistent routine, older adults can amplify strength, endurance, and energy while cultivating motivation and confidence. In essence, short bursts of high-intensity movement are not optional. They are essential for thriving after 60. They provide a concentrated stimulus that preserves youthfulness, strengthens the heart and muscles, and awakens the mind. They teach both body and brain that effort is meaningful, challenge is rewarding, and life remains full of possibility. By embracing these brief, deliberate efforts, we can extend not just our years, but the quality, vitality, and richness of every single day. As we age, it becomes increasingly clear that longevity is not just about the body, it is about the mind. Many older adults assume that simply moving is enough to sustain vitality, but the truth is far deeper. The way we engage with effort, discomfort, and challenge shapes our brain's reward systems, our sense of purpose, and our overall quality of life. Movement is most transformative when it is intentional, when it demands more than the minimum effort, and when it teaches the brain to associate effort with reward. This principle is often overlooked, yet it is one of the most powerful levers for maintaining health and energy after 60. Our modern world is designed for comfort. Chairs are soft, entertainment is effortless, and convenience is everywhere. While comfort is pleasant in the moment, it subtly undermines the very systems that keep us thriving. The brain's dopamine system, which regulates motivation, pleasure, and reinforcement learning, is especially sensitive to challenge. When the body and mind are understimulated, dopamine levels drop, and a quiet lethargy can take hold. We may not notice it immediately, but over time, it manifests as decreased drive, mild apathy, or a lack of interest in activities that once brought joy. To counteract this, movement must not only maintain physical function, but also intentionally provoke the brain to engage and reward effort. This is where the concept of controlled discomfort becomes essential. By deliberately incorporating exercises that push the limits of strength, endurance, and stability, we provide the brain with meaningful stimulation. Holding an isometric position, lifting weights that challenge our muscles, or performing a short burst of high-intensity movement are all examples of controlled stress. These moments of effort activate not only muscles and cardiovascular systems, but also the neural pathways that associate action with accomplishment. Each completed set, each resisted urge to quit, releases dopamine, reinforcing the link between effort and reward. Over time, this rewires the brain to seek challenges, to find satisfaction in effort, and to maintain motivation even in the face of difficulty. The psychological benefits of this approach are profound. Older adults who engage in intentional, effortful movement experience greater self-efficacy, the sense that they are capable of influencing their own health and outcomes. They gain confidence in their bodies and minds, knowing that they can rise to challenges, recover from strain, and push beyond perceived limits. This confidence spills over into daily life, influencing posture, mobility, and even emotional resilience. The act of choosing to exert oneself, rather than simply moving through comfort, becomes a powerful statement of agency, a reminder that we are not passive observers of aging, but active participants in our own longevity and quality of life. Intentional movement also cultivates presence and mindfulness. When holding a difficult position, lifting a challenging weight, or completing a brief burst of intense effort, the mind must focus entirely on the body. This attention to breath, posture, and control enhances awareness of the present moment, reducing stress and improving mental clarity. It demonstrates that physical challenge is inseparable from mental engagement, that caring for the body is, simultaneously, a practice of training the mind. Ultimately, thriving after 60 requires more than routine movement. It requires intentional, effortful engagement that challenges the body and stimulates the mind. Comfort may be easy, but growth comes from choosing effort, embracing discomfort, and reinforcing the link between action and reward. Every moment of intentional exercise strengthens more than muscles. It strengthens confidence, motivation, and resilience. It reminds us that vitality is not a product of avoidance, but of engagement, persistence, and courage. By embracing controlled discomfort through purposeful movement, older adults can transform not just their bodies, but their minds, their motivation, and their entire approach to aging. Longevity and vitality after 60 are not just about individual exercises. They are about the way we integrate movement into daily life and the mindset we bring to it. Too often, older adults approach exercise as a task, something to check off a list, rather than as a deliberate tool for transformation. The real power of movement emerges when it is purposeful, consistent, and diverse, engaging multiple systems of the body and brain simultaneously. Strength, stability, and intensity each offer unique benefits, but it is their combination and integration into a daily routine that amplifies their effects. By designing movement as a holistic practice, older adults can preserve not just muscle mass or cardiovascular function, but also motivation, cognitive sharpness, and emotional resilience. Incorporating strength exercises, isometric holds, and short bursts of intensity into a structured routine sends a clear message to the body: you are needed, capable, and alive. The muscles are stimulated to maintain tone and function, the joints are protected through stability, and the heart and lungs are challenged to adapt and improve. At the same time, the brain receives critical reinforcement. Effort leads to reward, perseverance yields accomplishment, and discomfort signals growth rather than threat. This integrated approach ensures that movement is not isolated or passive, but active, intentional, and life-affirming. It is through this synergy of physical and mental engagement that aging can be met not with decline, but with sustained energy and capability. Consistency is another critical factor. One-off efforts, while beneficial in the short term, do not create lasting adaptation. The body and brain need repeated intentional signals to maintain function and vitality. A routine that alternates between strength work, isometric holds, and micro-intensity bursts ensures that multiple systems are continually challenged and reinforced. Over time, this approach leads to measurable improvements, greater strength, better balance, improved cardiovascular capacity, and increased neurochemical resilience. It also cultivates a habit of effort, a rhythm of discipline that carries over into daily life. This discipline strengthens not just the body, but the mind, encouraging a sense of agency, purpose, and self-efficacy. The integration of these exercises into daily life also encourages adaptability. Older adults who practice diverse forms of movement are better equipped to handle the unpredictable demands of everyday living. Reaching overhead, climbing stairs, standing from a chair, carrying groceries. These tasks require strength, stability, and short bursts of effort, all of which are cultivated through a holistic exercise routine. By training the body in varied ways, older adults reduce the risk of injury, improve functional independence, and maintain confidence in their abilities. This practical application of exercise underscores the principle that movement is not merely about fitness, it is about empowerment. Equally important is the psychological impact of integrating movement into a lifestyle. When exercise is approached as a form of self-care, as an intentional practice that challenges yet supports the body, it reinforces a growth mindset. Each repetition, each held position, each burst of intensity is a reaffirmation that the body is capable, the mind is resilient, and effort is meaningful. This mindset is essential for maintaining motivation, combating the natural tendency toward comfort and stagnation, and fostering a sense of purpose that transcends physical health alone. Ultimately, the key to thriving after 60 is not any single exercise, but the integration of multiple forms of movement into a deliberate, purposeful routine. Strength, stability, and intensity together create a powerful feedback loop between body and brain, preserving function, promoting vitality, and reinforcing the sense that life is full of potential, even in later decades. By embracing this holistic approach, older adults can move with intention, live with confidence, and age with both strength and grace, transforming the later years into a period not of decline, but of renewed energy, independence, and fulfillment. Aging gracefully is about more than movement. It is about mindset, choices, and the willingness to step beyond comfort. Many people assume that after 60, the goal is simply to maintain what remains, to move gently, avoid risk, and stay okay. But thriving at this stage of life requires more than survival. It requires intention, effort, and the courage to embrace controlled discomfort. This is where the principle of deliberate challenge becomes crucial. By choosing to engage in exercises that test strength, stability, and cardiovascular capacity, older adults not only preserve their bodies, but also fortify the mind. Every intentional effort, no matter how small, sends a message to the brain that life is still meaningful, that growth is still possible, and that vitality is still attainable. Controlled discomfort is profoundly transformative because it teaches resilience. When we push against resistance, hold a position, or complete a short, intense movement, we are training the nervous system to tolerate strain without panic or retreat. The brain learns that effort is not a threat, but a signal of progress. Dopamine, the chemical of motivation and reward, is released, reinforcing the connection between challenge and satisfaction. Over time, this strengthens both the body and the mind, cultivating confidence, persistence, and self-efficacy. In other words, the act of choosing to engage in deliberate effort becomes a practice in mental and emotional resilience, not just physical fitness. This principle applies to all forms of movement, from strength training to isometric holds to brief bursts of intensity. Each exercise is an opportunity to confront discomfort intentionally and safely, and to witness the body's capacity to adapt and respond. The physical benefits are clear. Muscles are maintained, joints are protected, balance is improved, and cardiovascular health is strengthened. But equally significant are the psychological benefits. Each completed set or held position reinforces the understanding that growth is possible at any age, that limitation is not an inevitability, and that self-discipline has tangible rewards. This understanding reshapes how older adults approach daily life, challenges, and even personal goals beyond the gym or exercise mat. Controlled discomfort also combats the natural human tendency toward complacency. As we age, it is easy to settle into routines that feel safe and comfortable. These routines may protect against injury in the short term, but over time, they limit strength, endurance, and vitality. By intentionally choosing exercises that stretch both body and mind, older adults counteract stagnation and cultivate a sense of progress. The subtle discomfort experienced during these exercises is a signal of engagement, a reminder that the body is alive, adaptable, and responsive. This perspective transforms movement from a task into a statement of agency, reinforcing the idea that aging is not a passive process, but an active journey of maintenance, growth, and empowerment. Furthermore, controlled discomfort nurtures a deep sense of accomplishment and purpose. When an older adult completes a challenging hold, lifts a heavier weight than before, or finishes a brief burst of intense activity, there is a tangible sense of mastery. This mastery extends beyond the exercise itself. It enhances confidence in daily activities, strengthens mental focus, and fosters emotional resilience. It is a reminder that the capacity for improvement does not diminish with age, rather it can flourish when we choose to engage intentionally with our bodies and minds. Ultimately, the practice of embracing controlled discomfort is about reclaiming agency over the aging process. It is a deliberate choice to reject stagnation, to challenge the body safely, and to stimulate the mind continuously. Strength, stability, and intensity are not just physical outcomes, they are manifestations of a mindset that refuses to settle for comfort at the expense of growth. By embracing this principle, older adults can move beyond mere survival, cultivating a life of vitality, purpose, and enduring resilience. Aging becomes not a slow decline, but a period of intentional strength, mental sharpness, and profound fulfillment, where each deliberate effort reinforces the truth that we are capable, adaptable, and alive.